Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, Taurus, I want to say thank you for being here. I'm so excited to do this reading with you. We have, as our opening energy, the Princess of Wands. That is one that is really exciting to me because it really kind of has that energy of a kid going off to college. They're discovering the world. They're starting to see things beyond their home life, where they come from, their social conditioning, the conditioning of familia and so on, which we all have, right? It's just, it's the way it goes. We grow up in a place and, there are customs and beliefs and just kind of availability to certain things. But then we go out into the world, hopefully, right? At some point, at least for a little bit. And you start to see, dang, people kind of live different, right? People might drink a different kind of milk. You grow up, you're drinking 2% milk. You go out in the world and you realize, hey, there's like D milk, there's, goat's milk, almond milk, rice milk, whatever. And all of a sudden, you have all of these options. Now, maybe you don't want to try everything, but it's there and it is in an unfurling, right? And then what comes after that? A rise in interest and passion and hopefully a sense of wonder and exploration and awe, right? Ideally. But that's what the Princess of Wands energy really ignites in me, is knowing that, hey, we're in a place where it's not that you're naive, but you're not so jaded that you're not willing to try things. You're not so jaded that you don't have that little bit of pep in your step, right? And that's fun. That's exciting. Now, let's go ahead. We're going to turn this thing, and I want to go ahead and, again, say thank you for being here. I'm trying to figure out, so my husband and I both have channels. You might know him. He's over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. His name is Paul. He's amazing. Go check him out. We're learning how to record at the same time, and so I might be talking a little low. It is what it is. I just got to get into a place where I'm not hollering, which if you've watched my readings, I talk loud. I'm a loud speaker. If I'm angry, excited, or not, I'm still talking loud. So thank you for being here. If you want to support the channel in any little way, literally just liking the video helps a lot. Subscribing definitely helps. And if you want to reach out, if you would like to, share something about yourself, I am very interested in, what goals everybody's establishing for this new season coming up. What kinds of things are you interested in doing in this next season? And also if you have a prayer request, you can put that in the comments, or if you are a private person, which I understand, you can definitely email me over at ulaishere@gmail.com. You can send your prayer requests. Tell me all about your life, whatever it is, whatever you need, whatever, you feel inspired and passionate to do. Okay? All right, let's get going here. So, the first thing I saw was the house. This definitely looks like a house here. And let's go ahead. We're going to look at the roof here. Now, above it, it looks like we have the number 4. Okay. Now, over here, it also looks like we maybe have the number 772. Okay, so 772. But also the number 4 seems very important. Now, when we see the house, we know we're dealing in the material world, right? The house doesn't always indicate like your physical home, but it could be, that it is where you dwell. To me, it seems that we have a line of people right over here, and it looks like we have the knight, okay? And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 other people behind, okay? Now, up here, it looks like we have the head of a cow. You can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and, maybe the horns and things up here. Now, it also looks like the house is the body. And to me, this is very, very symbolic. Now, you might be thinking, okay, it looks like a house with a cow head. What the heck are you talking about? We have, the knight. We have 4 people following behind. What is this all about? Well, I'll tell you. The cow, in my reckoning, not always, but quite often, is a symbol of the Divine Mother. We have Hera, we have Hathor, right? These are symbolic of being full of nurturing, mother's milk, right? Not unlike Artemis, not unlike Diana. And so we have this energy of the all-mother, the middle mother, the mother that is very hands-on. We're not talking about the dark mother. We're not talking about, the reluctant mother or the mother who, is maybe kind of emotionally unavailable, cut off from their children, so on and so forth. This is the mother who is involved. This is the mother who is doting, who is loving, but is also brutal and fierce, will do anything for their children, right? So we have that lingering with the house or the temple. Now, the body is the temple, right? Not, we've all heard the saying. But here we're talking about, the feminine consciousness, Sophia, right? Magdalena, any number of the goddesses, the middle goddesses, being the inheritor of the church or the embodiment of the temple, the vessel, right? The porta. And so I see that we have a strong feminine leadership in this household. We have the strength, the safety, the belovedness of the mother. Okay, so it feels safe. It feels like a place where you can spread out, you can grow, right? You can grow without fear. It is a place that you don't have to hide. You get to be whoever you are, and you are not rejected for that, which is a big deal, right? Now, we do have the night. The night is approaching the home, okay? So to me, this is almost kind of like that return of the prodigal son kind of energy. Now, I don't necessarily think that this is your son or your brother or anything like this, but I do feel that there is maybe an old relationship, an ex, and I feel like this is a person that shows up in cycles, okay? You could almost mark your calendar to it, right? They come back, they try to worm their way in, you are resistant. Of course, you probably still love them, you care for them, but you're not going to let them in. So they try and they toil and they try to, love bomb and bring up the old times and the nostalgia and this and that. And when you stick to your decision, no, you're not coming back in here. That's when we run into the messiness. And I feel like that is it. Now, this time, I feel like They're preparing themselves, right? They have backup this time. Now, maybe you have kids together. Maybe you have grandkids. Maybe you have a friends group. Whatever it is, I feel like they are getting people kind of on their side, right? Now, I don't feel like it's to necessarily go against you, because I don't think anybody wants to go against you. But I feel like they are advocating for this person and kind of leaning on you a little bit to give them another chance. Now, I feel like you know from the core of your being that this is over. There's no way back. You don't see any kind of future with this person. They have already piddled away what goodness you had for them, what love you had for them. Okay? Continued disrespect. And I don't think it's necessarily like cheating or anything like that, but it feels more along the lines of just really not prioritizing you. And it does feel like financial, maybe abuse, but definitely just mismanagement. And I feel like for you, you're getting into a better place, right? You're established now. You are getting out of debt. You are building your savings up. You have a plan. This person does not fit into that plan. There's just no way of looking at it, right? You look at all of the different vantage points and perceptions and, running the numbers. And it's just like, bro, you just don't belong here anymore, So I do feel that this is going to be a time where I think there's a little more resolve in your ending of things. And I apologize, I'm taking a little drink here. But I do feel like you have this resolve to end things, right? And I feel like it's not coming through as like overly reactionary or, super emotional or anything like this. But what it seems like to me is you're just not engaging, right? And they're finally kind of seeing like, okay, like you're not even moved to get upset when they say something mean or do something funky, right? So I feel like this is the beginning of the real closure. Okay. Now, I want to look up here. And it looks like we have the word Leo. L-E-O. Okay, so Leo. Maybe we're dealing with a Leo person. Okay, now at the top here, we have two people communing. One has the tail of either a devil or a mermaid. We're going to look at this as the siren, okay? The siren is, that classic story of like the mer lady singing a beautiful song, and you got the sailor, and the sailor hears that beautiful song, and he says, hey, I'm turning this ship. We're going right towards that. Whatever that is, it's beautiful. It's enchanting. I want to see it. I want to have it. It's mine. And they go forth towards it. And what happens? They run into the rocks, right? They never find that chick. They run into the rocks. They self-destruct. They are absolutely just sinking, right? Or, you could look at it as, that siren really trapped you, really got you all stuck up right there. So to me, we're looking at these two people communing. We have one who looks like they are in this kind of almost, I would say, high priestess or empress energy. So a very, I would say, responsible, well put together, well thought, well-spoken person, okay? Now, in contrast, communing with somebody who maybe appears in a similar fashion, right? Maybe even seems very much a peer of this empress or high priestess, but we have, secret motives, right? We have that kind of destructive underlying energy. So I feel like we're dealing with somebody who very selfish, predatory, right? Somebody who kind of ingratiates themselves into like a group of people or into a friendship and ends up causing absolute havoc, right? So then down here, we have what looks like, I would say, the Hierophant. And I almost feel like they're building a scarecrow. This is interesting to me. I almost kind of feel like, in a way, you feel that you have to construct this other part of self to deal with this person. So that leads me to believe that this is maybe a family member or possibly like somebody you work with that you have to be around all the time. I feel like to you, there's almost this like guilt or annoyance that you have to think about kind of putting on, something that feels inauthentic, right? Like you're just, you're living in a way that keeps this person from becoming reactive when you are around them. And I feel like that's very tiring for you. I think that you're coming into a place where you probably resent that you have to do this at all, because you're a Taurus. You just want to be who you are, right? Taurus people are such individuals, right? I used to be married to a Taurus. He passed away when I was almost 30. So a little while ago, right? Over a decade ago. And maybe one of the most unique people I've ever met. And probably, yeah, like top 3 for sure. And artistic and highly stylized, well put together, this guy. And every Taurus I've ever met, right? Similar thing. So to imagine, and I think about this, his name was Andrew. If Andrew ever had to pretend to be somebody else, oh my gosh, that would have been a nightmare for him. I know that. So, I feel like for you, it's just like, I'm just not willing to do this anymore. I'm just not into it, right? I don't want to keep working at a place where I have to be next to a person I have to hide from. I have to be next to him, but I have to hide from him. We all know that feeling. And so I do. I think that everything is kind of coming into a place of like solar energy, right? That soul card, that sun card, illumination, revelation, courage, everything out in the open. So I feel like you will be making a move, right? And if that means quitting your job or deciding, or, quitting this relationship or going no contact or limiting access or whatever it is, I do feel that something fundamentally is changing. I feel like you're not willing to live this way anymore. You did that when you were a teenager, your 20s, your 30s, maybe even in your 40s, but not anymore. Not anymore. Now we also have the word boat. B-O-A-T. Boat. Oops. We just were on a boat the other day for my birthday. Rented a little pontoon, which was fun. It was a lot of fun. and just kind of skedaddled around the lake. Okay. And it says we. W-E. We. We also have the number 15. And it does look like we have like a wizard. If you could see right here, this is the wizard kind of leaning over and kind of like, it looks like projecting out some kind of magical force. Maybe we have a cat underneath. We have the number 15. So we have that magician energy as well. I wonder if you are beginning a new study or practicing like a new art, maybe divination, maybe, practical magic, sympathetic, fetish, whatever. Fetish as in the form of magic, right? Not the other thing. Although, I mean, hey, no judgment, right? But I do. I feel that there is a sense of, and it looks like over the house as well. So I do feel like there's a sense of like redecorating. And it makes you feel powerful. I wonder if you're like cleaning a lot of room out, moving around more. Getting things decluttered, getting your space ready to create in, to move around. And that's the big thing I keep feeling too, is there's a lot of movement, dance possibly. Maybe you're doing aerobics or I don't know. But it feels like your house is, it seems to be kind of reorganized, re-envisioned. And then there's a lot of like sound and movement coming into it. So I wonder if somebody's moving in, or maybe you've cleaned out room and now you're like, making the kids a new playroom and they're going to just be loud and wild in there. But it feels like there's a lot of life flowing through the house. And I feel like you're taking an active role in using those energies to kind of really flow through the home and bring a lot of like vitality, creativity, and a flow of prosperity, money coming in. Now, you might think, as you hear this, that's really like superstitious, magical thinking, that cleaning the house out, getting the energies moving your body in there, singing, dancing, crying, whatever. How would that relate to bringing money in? Well, it does. I mean, everything is insanely complex and interconnected. I don't know how it works. I'm not any kind of, high intellectual or, doctor, philosopher, any of these things. I'm just a silly lady in the middle of nowhere. I'm sitting in a cornfield reading your tea leaves, right? Write a little poetry. I wouldn't call myself a poet, but, maybe somewhere in there, which, that means I'm terribly emotional, probably. Yes. But I can sit here and tell you with certainty in my heart that everything you have ever seen, touched, felt, thought of, been to, not been to, whatever, it is all interconnected. Every single thing that you've ever even conceived, or anything that just floats around in the back, interconnected. It all affects each other. It affects everything. It is like a huge web, right? You tap one side, the whole thing is, now it might not be instant, but it will flow through, right? So we must consider this. We must consider, how do all of our actions, our thoughts, our movements, our intentions, so on and so forth, how do all of these things affect the variables of our life? And how does that affect the organization? How does that affect our perception of the data, right? I know it's a lot. I'm tired thinking about it, even saying it. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to move this over here. And let's see. 85. Number 85 is our first lucky number. 79 and 31. All right. Beautiful. And then we're going to end with our Wild Offering Oracle cards. And I'm just going to go ahead and flip through, stop where it feels right. And it says patience. If you've tried forever to shift a problem, there's probably something to learn from embracing it. May I let this be for now. Help me relax and trust every need will be met. Often change soon follows. Often change soon follows. How wonderful. All right, Taurus, I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for being here with me. It's always such a great pleasure for me. Now, if you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. It definitely helps the channel a lot to do any of those things. I also have private readings. All the information for that is in the description of the videos. And yeah. All right. I love you. We'll talk again real soon.